official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by River.
What is up, everybody?
Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
And very special guest, Kdub.
What's up, my Guardian 1 brothers?
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to the Guardian 1 podcast. I am SDF River, and this is the part where we kind of just go over a little bit of housekeeping for you guys. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G1NET. And just a reminder, we only use the number 1 whenever we refer to Guardian 1 in its shortened form. So again, that's G1NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. You can also send us feedback to our email, feedback@guardian1.net. We also have a Bungie.net forums group that's currently at 143 members. And if you want to join, just search for the group name Guardian 1. Guardian 1 has its own clan as well, so if you want to join the Guardian 1 clan, just select the buttons that say set as PlayStation clan or set as Xbox clan after you join the group. We utilize the forums for comments and feedback, so again, be sure to join the conversations going on there. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. We also broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. And if you can't catch the show live, you can always go to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardian Radio. Other podcasts include Warlock School, TTL Party Chat, Aim Assist Gaming, Robust Radio, whenever that's going to come back. And also, if you're into the Grimoire, there is an audio version that's called Ghosts and Echoes. Be sure to check that out as well. That's it.
Excellent. Excellent. Lots of info out today. Lots of stuff to talk about Destiny, and trying to fit it in as small time as possible. So I want to take 1 second to say, hey, what's up, Kdub? Welcome to the show, episode 42. How are you doing?
What's up, my brother Ram? How you doing, man? I'm really glad to be here.
It's great to have you. I play Destiny with you all the time, and it's always a really good time. I get to play with your son too. You and your son, we played some trials, and that was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun in trials, and looking forward to talking about that. But Kdub has taken the mantle of the what was it we ended up calling you? Deciding to call you some kind of recruitment administrator. But so what's going to happen with Guardian 1 moving forward is that Kdub is going to be in charge of kind of like I don't want there to be a border between people coming in, but I want there to be someone to greet them when they do. I want someone to actively seek out members, and you, Kdub, have actually brought quite a few members in. Who would you say right now, hands down, are you responsible for joining Guardian 1?
Well, I've got a couple of guys, but I mean, obviously, Shark's number one. I mean, Shark's he's our main dude. I mean, he's one that we all play with every day. He's one of our main clan members. He's awesome. And then, of course, Strider. Strider's awesome. I play with him in Turcotte in the mornings. He's heavy into the lore, which is cool. He even goes on the forums and picks people out and helps noobs out and helps Kinderguardians go through the Vault of Glass, which he was trying to do earlier today, and they got frustrated. But that's the kind of thing that we try to do is help other Guardians make their way through. And not everybody has 334s. Not everybody has 332s even. So it's cool to help other people out, and that's what we try to do. So it's awesome.
Yeah, we never required Gallowhorns against Crota, did we?
Yeah, right, exactly.
No.
Right? You might not make it. Certainly. But yeah, it's really great to have you part of the community. It's really great to have you as part of Guardian One. I can't thank you enough for really the outreach. And Sharks is a huge part. Sharks is a huge part of Guardian One, both in terms of just talking about it. I always see him posting, and I always see him, talking about, I've been playing for 27 straight hours. Come at me, You got a problem?
Actually, I think I've actually recruited Turcotte. I think Turcotte's actually an unofficial member of Guardian One. He's the only one flying the Guardian radio flag, but he's obviously the founder, and he's the dude. He's the main man.
Right.
By the way, I gotta throw a little spotlight out there. You're gonna have him on next week. Everybody be aware that Remy's having the one and only Mark Turcotte on the show next week, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, very excited. Very excited to announce
that's
that
crazy.
for our 1-year anniversary show, we will have been broadcasting for 1 year next week, and we're going to have him on. And it actually worked out really great because I asked him this last week if he could do it next week, and I saw him on. And he was like, "Oh man, we're doing the show again on Wednesday, and I can't really do a Wednesday and Thursday late night." And I was like, "Well, we're in luck because it's not until next week." And then I guess he just couldn't say no. So
awesome.
So we guilted him into a corner, and he's going to be here. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be.
that works.
He's going to be stoked to be here, man.
It's kind of like that tactic where you put something super undesirable and then put something slightly undesirable to soften the blow.
The lesser of two evils.
It's like, do you want to eat this vomit? No. How about my cooking?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So that's going to be great. But yeah, so it's great to have you on the show. Tons and tons of stuff to talk about. If you got something to say, just spit it out, and then we will talk about it. We'll talk about it. But to start us off, why don't we throw it to Agrios and see what he's got to say.
All right. Well, this week we're going to start off with the update, and it was all about the Crucible this week. Just lots and lots about the Crucible. Of course, it's been a Crucible-heavy week. For First Blood, Bungie hits us with some numbers. 3,798,561 Trials of Osiris matches were played. 118,627,301 kills, or deaths if your glass be half empty. 188,442 players visited the Mercurial Promised Land. And 299,001 Guardians scored a perfect scorecard. What? The main thing I think about these numbers is, I guess, so when you say Guardians scored a perfect scorecard, do you think that's counting duplicate Guardians? Like if you scored two perfect scorecards, are you counted in there twice?
Well,
Yeah,
either
it's
that,
counting your alts.
either that, or over 100,000 people were able to go to the lighthouse but didn't go. So I would say
what I'm saying. So
I would say that if you went perfect on Trials of Osiris, you have the the ability to go to the lighthouse. I think that you did it. You didn't just turn your nose up at it. So yeah, so I would say that that's alts. But that's crazy. 188,000 people went to the lighthouse. Did anyone here go to the lighthouse?
No.
Unfortunately, no.
Sad. Okay, so let's
My son went twice.
Oh, seriously. That's
Jeez.
awesome. That's awesome. He's gnarly. His playing is this. It's the new style of playing. Like I see a lot of kids using this. Like I am too busy worried about the spoon to think to myself that there is no spoon. Like I'm so worried about being in this virtual world that I don't have a chance to really manipulate it to my will just yet. But I feel like I've started it. Like playing Trials this weekend was an eye opener in that. What a great way to hide some end game content behind the community. Like a part of me thinks it was a horrible thing, and part of me is like, this is the most brilliant thing. Unless you came across people who cheated, and that had to suck really bad. Like a personal affront. Instead of it being Atheon who just won't die, it's somebody in the world is thinking, ha ha.
I gotta say real quick, Shark and I went with one of our buddies. You guys have probably played with Alvaro. The three of us went, and we got to 8-0. And that is as frustrating as possible to get to 8-0 and then not make it, dude. We were so mad. So mad, dude.
Okay, so Kdub, you made it to 8-0. Agrios, how far did you make it?
Not very far at all. I had troubles coordinating my fire teams to put much of an effort in.
Right? Where the hell was Sharks? Where the hell are you, Sharks? Jez, did you get very far?
Yeah. So 8-0. That's as best as we did, and then it was just too late, and we just didn't want to do it again.
So wait, so you guys made 9-1?
Yeah, it was 9-1.
Okay.
Well, technically it would be 9-2, but the first loss was forgiven.
Right.
You only really needed to do, in actuality, 7-1 to get to the lighthouse. You bought all the things.
As a matter of fact, what my son did in the last one, they got to 7-0, and then they quit, and they went and found more coins by playing Rumble, went and bought the buff, so then one more win, and they got 9.
Heck yes, I saw that you could repurchase those at stages, and that's awesome. There's some strategy involved in that.
It's a good tactic. Then you don't waste it. You only save it to use if you're going to get it perfect or have a shot at getting it perfect.
Right. That's exactly what I'm thinking. If you're doing so good, you don't want that last trip up to be something that you could have avoided from the very beginning. What about you, Crimson Warlock? What was your trials experience like?
I did not experience any trials. I was way too busy over the weekend, and the time that I did have to play, no one was on that I felt comfortable asking to do trials with.
So wait, comfortable because of their ability, or comfortable because you're just people in the community that you don't normally ask to do things with?
A little bit of both. Like, I've never PvP'd with them. I don't feel like I'm the most spectacular, so I didn't want to be the weak link in the chain. I do want to play and I want to try and get that 9-0, but I also don't want to feel like I have to get carried. So I do need to get some more PvP experience before I think I'll feel comfortable with trials.
There's nothing wrong with being carried, man.
You know what, River? You are 100% correct, and that's exactly what I was just about to say. Like in the beginning, in the first trials card I played, it was like the most falling down I've ever done in a game. And it was so frustrating, and I just couldn't see past it right that second. When the second trial I played, I started to really see how trials is much like a game of chess or like wrestling, like when you're watching a wrestling and they're like, oh, we'll go into second position or whatever it's called, and one person starts with a handicap or whatever. One person starts from a place of, less power, and this is part of that game. I kind of feel that because we were put at the same places, the same one or two places, it really allowed you to, it was almost like a rewind button, except for they were keeping track of how many times you went through it. Like you started over again. Okay, well, how do I make this reality different from the one that happened last time?
Wasn't it kind of frustrating whenever you got the inside spawn, though?
I liked inside spawn, actually. Mm-hmm. A lot of people liked the outside spawn, and I think that gave them a false sense of security, because if you could just take away the added bonus of having that sun behind them, like if you made them come to you, which is also another tactic of framing the engagement, which is super important. I really actually liked the inside. I felt naked and open on the outside. There was just too many ways for people to attack me, and I could really cut off those aspects.
I was watching the T-Rex stream, and they were up against a bunch of people that did not change their tactics, and because of that, they just wrecked them like 5-0. Because the other team did not try to adapt at all, and it was interesting to see the teams that did and how that got them out of their comfort zone. And T-Rex and his buddies had to kind of rethink their strategy a few times, but they went 9-0 3 times.
Wow, that's awesome. What was that?
I really thought that they should have been spawn flipping back and forth. I really thought that we should have alternated each time as we went up.
They should. I agree.
Instead of always
Yeah.
being on the same side every time.
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
heard
say-
suggestions of after like heavy spawn, like you need to flip it or something like that.
That-
But
that's a
maybe
good-
that's
that's a
too
good
late
point.
in the match. I'm not sure.
You know,
Just every round, just give a different side. Just flip, 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 flip. That'd be fair. I mean, I think.
I kind of feel like for me and the way I take apart scenarios, knowing which side I was just going to be on every single time really helped the way I measured out every single action that I was going to take. Like and this is could just be for me, but because I knew at the beginning of the match where I was going to start, I could take that variable out. I didn't have to worry about, am I going to start in the middle? I just didn't even put any power into that. And so it allowed me to really focus on what was in front of me, which was either outside or inside. And you know what? I started liking the outside first because everyone was like, oh, we're outside, yay. But then I just felt so much like I had so much more control on the inside. So yeah, either way is really cool. It's going to be the same map. But for me personally, I'm thinking that just keeping it to whatever.
Well, I think it would be fine to know. I think it's fine knowing where you're going to spawn, but I just think you should spawn in the exact same place every other time. So this time I know I'm spawning right here outside, and then the other spot's the same spot inside. So the next time you know you're going to spawn inside, and then the next time you know you're going to spawn back in that same spot outside. So you still know where you're going to spawn. It's just one or the other every other time.
Well, I think though it really depended on play style, because if you were a sniper, you really wanted to be on the outside. If you wanted CQC or you wanted to be a shotgunner, you wanted to go inside and go rush them and maybe flip the spawn or something and come around and flank them. Because the snipers that are in the sun, forget it, dude, you're done.
What about you, River? What was your best score, and what do you think about starting at the same place every time?
Our best score, this was me, Twisted Shots TV, and Zachariah. We managed to go 9-2.
Oh,
so we were pretty happy about that, actually, because first trials run, it's kind of rough. We actually lost that first one. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you. Did you get etheric light every time you opened a silver package, or no?
Every time you open a silver, you're talking about those tier things?
Yeah, when you go back to Brother Vance and you open the packages, right? There's a silver, there's a gold for 8, but the 6 last week was a silver package. Every single time I opened a silver package last week, I got etheric light, and Shark was saying he didn't. So I wanted to know if you did.
Well, how's this? I only played the trials one time. That's when we got the 9 out of 2.
Yep.
And I opened up all the stuff, and I managed to get 2 etheric light out of all of them.
Okay, yeah, so that's probably right. Yeah,
that's
probably
awesome.
Right.
Well, congratulations to you. So, all right, so then let's spin this right back down. What did you get? And I'm curious to know, because I only got 2 wins total. Me personally, my best was 2 and 3, which is horrible. Which is just horrible. It wasn't like they were honest fights. Like, I feel like there are certain tactics, and if you don't use those certain tactics as well, then you are really at a disadvantage. It's like trying to play. I keep trying to play Halo 3 or Halo Reach. I keep trying to play it that way, when now what it is you have to even back up further than that because of Blink, because of things like sniper-esque shotguns. People out there are taking the actual dance away from this first-person shooter game, and I feel like it's so awesome that you were able to go in and get that. Just on your first trial. My first trial, I didn't win once. I just lost and then lost and then lost, and it was horrible feeling. And I posted.
Yeah, I saw. I kind of, you had my sympathy, Remy. In all honesty, because whenever you're going up to something like this, and you're all hyped up, and it's really disheartening whenever you get something like that happening to you. But it's not going to happen all the time, as long as you keep at it and change your tactics. Learn from each engagement that you lose. Because what was it Lord Shack says? Something about everybody wants victory, but you learn the most from losing or something like that.
I saw that. I saw whatever that was. I don't remember what it was right offhand, but I saw that and I thought, man, that makes me feel a lot better about this. And to be honest, I really felt myself grow as a player just in those few times, and it occurred to me that I haven't played really Crucible at all. Like, I've played, okay, let's put it this way. Since House of Wolves came out, I've played at least double the amount of Crucible that I had before House of Wolves came out. Like, this is how much more. Like, it's just not something I put a lot of time into because I just don't have that time to focus on it. Like when you're going up against another human opponent, you really need to be paying attention to what's going on if you expect to win. And I've played it at least no less than twice as much since House of Wolves has come out because of the daily package. I have fallen for it. They sloped to the floor. They're going to give me something in exchange that is worth my time. And so, seriously, every day, except for the last couple of days, my dog has been like deathly sick, and so I haven't had a lot of time for any of that. But I don't know. It was super exciting to play. So okay, so two things. Number one, I want to understand how these packages work for those listening who didn't win anything at all. I won one thing, which was the stone package, which was just more passage coins. So I'm curious to know, River, what did you get from this? Like, what was available to you, and what did you choose to get because of your 9 and 2, or whatever that was?
Well, I mean, geez, I know the chess piece was available, so
and
I
you
got
didn't
that.
Get that. Oh, you did.
No, yeah, because I was able to turn in all the tiered packages since I got 9 wins.
Okay,
so I just turned them all in.
Okay, so that's how that works then, is everything that he has listed, if you get to the highest number, you can just go and buy each one of those things?
Yeah, because it's based on how many wins you have.
Man, and so off one card, you're able to buy everything on that rack.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I was really hoping I would get higher than 2 kills so I could see if that was the case, because I thought it was. That's super exciting. Okay, so what did you get? You got the chess piece, and what else?
I did manage to get the chess piece. Anybody remember what weapon was on sale as well?
It was the summoner.
Auto rifle.
Auto rifle.
Okay,
The
so I did
summoner,
manage to get that.
Just like Phoenix.
And it was crazy. Whenever we were winning our matches, I know Twisted Shots got something. He managed to get something legendary. And Zechariah didn't really get anything whenever we were winning, but me, I was getting all kinds of stuff after each win that we had. It was nuts. Like I got the emblem, and I got the Hunter's Cloak, which is so sweet to look at.
So
Oh my gosh.
So
I got the rocket launcher, Tomorrow's Answer. And what else did I got 2 of the Watcher's grips for some reason, and decided to give me 2 of those. I also got the leg armor, the Watcher's boots for hunters, man. And my gosh, I couldn't believe all the stuff that I was getting. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
And 2 etheric lights from turning in the tiered packages, and anything else I honestly don't remember, because I was just so stoked for all the loot that I got. It was amazing.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool times. I hope your friends didn't hate you too bad for that.
Not too bad. But, we're hoping to probably get them stuff tomorrow if we can.
I actually was smiled upon as well, even though I think I only played a couple of cards and I didn't win at all. But I did get an emblem, which was cool, and then I did get a chest piece for the Warlock and a chest piece for the Hunter. Which are both really cool, but I don't know. I almost feel like I shouldn't even wear them because I ran out there like one of those stupid ducks in the shooting galleries, like ding, wah, 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 ding, wah, wah, wah.
Ring a duck hunt.
But then I thought, and then I got an ether light from one of the Nightfalls, and I thought, you know what I should do is ascend this, and then it will look like I wasn't a horrible player in Trials of Osiris. But. So yeah, okay, cool. So that's awesome that you got those things. So Crimson Warlock, you said that you didn't play, yeah?
Yeah, I did not have time to participate this weekend, and I don't know when I'm going to be 34, so I don't know when I will participate on.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think that counts as much as people like me want it to.
It definitely doesn't. There's actually, they did a breakdown after we were talking about this last, Remy, and it appears as though that, in a nutshell, even though it changes the amount of damage that you're taking from a person, it doesn't change it enough to change the number of bullets it takes to kill you in most cases. In fact, according to, if the math is all correct, and a lot of people seem to think it is, 99% of the time, it won't change the number of bullets it takes to kill you to be one level off. And the 97 to 98% of the time, it won't change the number of bullets it takes to kill you when you're 2 levels off. And 3 levels off only drops to like over 95% of the time. It still takes the same number of bullets to kill you.
Got it.
Because what it works out to is that last bullet, really only like 2 damage of the last bullet that hit you was killing you in a lot of circumstances. So that damage is absorbed by that last bullet.
Got it. Jez, what did you get? What did you get from your times?
Quite the same as Remy, actually. I got the cloak, a bunch of the Watcher's gear, and 2 etheric light, the chest piece, and summoner, and I also got a scout rifle, which hits really hard, but it's really slow.
Got it. That sounds like a great haul. And I won't lie, getting those things, even though they were pity prizes, I still liked getting them. But it wasn't until Agrio said, "Well, I didn't get squat." But that was the last time we talked. So what did you get, Agrios?
Nothing. Squat.
You actually got squat?
Yeah, I actually got nothing. I barely ran the trials at all, and the only time I completed a passage for any reward was the time I was with you, and it was for that lowest tier reward.
He got a warlock bond on it. Then on the bond it says squat.
Right, squat.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. An interesting thing, trials may be becoming harder, so getting that in gear may be more difficult. Reports from people hold up. Apparently, when it started, there was a rush of a lot of people who hadn't normally played PvP coming in and testing it out. And now as those people try it and fail or try it and lose interest, only the harder core players are left. And there's a lot of reports of people who had no problem going 9-0 the first day, not even being able to hit 5 wins by the last day when only the harder core people were playing.
Yep.
Okay,
so
so
this trend continues.
I got to comment on that.
More difficult to get to the lighthouse.
I got to comment on that. Hang on, because I started at the very beginning of trials, and it was we went 8-0 like the first day, and by the last day of trials, it was impossible because everybody was a 34, everybody had gear, everybody was harder to beat than at the beginning when everybody was 33, 32, didn't have all their stuff ascended. It got harder as it went. Absolutely, that's true.
I can see that. Okay, so what did you get, Kdub?
Well, I got all 3 of my characters to 8 wins, and I was lucky enough to get, and Shark's pissed at me, but I was lucky enough to get Etheric Light out of each one of those packages. Well, the silver and the gold packages, not the one below that. But I actually made a mistake. The first time that I did it, the chest pieces there, I was like, sweet, and I was buying the package, but when you buy the package, it disappears, right? So you buy the package, and you buy the next thing, and you buy the next. I'm just hitting the button, and I hit the button twice on the chest piece. So I accidentally bought 2 of them. I was like, whatever. But so I
Aren't
learned
you glad
that
it's strength?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, jeez, dude, don't even get me started on the strength. Enough of that. So, but I accidentally bought 2 of the chest pieces the first time I was in. So the gun and the chest piece don't go away. You can buy those 7,000 times if you want to, as long as you have enough glimmer. Yeah. So, but I got a lot of etheric light, and that's why I was kind of hemming and hawing over after I got my characters to 34, what guns I'm gonna ascend, and Agrios and Shark kind of both talked me into Vision of Confluence, which I'm not sure if I'm real happy with, but not that it's going to be a big deal because Iron Banner's coming and we're all going to have etheric light soon. So,
yeah. You know what? Okay, so I feel, Agrios, like this is absolutely, part of the it's absolutely part of the way the game is going to ebb and flow. Like, and this is one of the things that I wanted to avoid by not really going into trials heavily in the beginning, was that I wanted to be ready. Like, if I go in at 34 and my weapons are sended, then I will be on equal playing grounds with everybody else, and then it just becomes a matter of RNG. I feel like well, who I want to play in this trials are the people like me who didn't play a ton of PvP before this came out, but who want to play because, I mean, the rewards are right there in front of you. It's I don't know that I've ever seen a more straightforward, simple way of just obtaining a ton of awesome gear. Get 9 wins and 0 losses, and then the world is yours. You go to a place where 188,000 people have only been to. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. And so I'm really looking forward to trials this next time around. I think I'm actually just looking forward to more PvP. But what I'm really looking forward to is going through those steps of learning what to do and what not to do. Where do I definitely, absolutely 100% not want to go to, on these maps so I can succeed. How is it that I get there? And it really feels like it's going to be just a ton of trial and error.
So I have a question for you guys about the trials, especially River. Since you're a bigger PvP player, do you feel like trials catered to you as a player to get you to max rank easier than PvE content has been?
Well, I mean, since I think it's because I would have to say yes in this case, because I am a big PvP player, and the guys that I was rolling with are pretty good PvP players too, and we had a really good teamwork mechanic going on. We were kind of learning how, because I'd never played with Zachariah before, and I play with Twisted Shots all the time. So we were kind of feeling each other out that first game, but
Uh-oh, for real.
Uh-oh.
He's trying to think of a word. Oh, wait, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. My Xbox controller was blinking. I don't understand that. But once we figured out how we were kind of playing together and learning from whenever we were losing what we were doing wrong, things just kind of started falling into place. So as a PvP player, yeah, I feel like, and because I got so much stuff, I mean, yeah, that kind of helped me get to 34 pretty quick just that first time playing the trials. But that's all RNG, man, and that's basically how you're going to get to max level anyways, is RNG. So there's really no, is it easier, is this better, is this worse? It's, let's hope you're lucky.
Absolutely.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I had a person write in or write to me talking about, or maybe it was a comment on one of these videos. I really wanted to go over some of those, but I've just not been here. Talking about, the Trials of Osiris represents Bungie giving the squeaky wheel the grease and perhaps screwing the pooch. And I feel like Trials of Osiris and Prison of Elders get you to the same end. Like, if you don't like PvP, here is this PvE. If you don't like PvE, here is this PvP. Like, it is essentially the same end game. And I feel like this was a necessary step in order to, there was no raid, but here is this new endgame PvE. Here is this new endgame PvP. And with the PvP one, like, the reason I think I'm so excited about Trials is because it is so random. Agros, your line is freaking out.
Hey Remy, I want to kick in on that real quick, because I was really excited. I was so excited for House of Wolves. I mean, almost to the point of release day, right? And I've come to realize that Prison of Elders, while it's extremely fun and it's extremely challenging, the rewards aren't worthy, in my opinion. So all of these Queen's guns, whether it be the hand cannon, the sniper rifle, the whatever, any one of my older guns, be it either Original Destiny or Dark Below, I have a gun that's better than that purple gun that I got. So
I feel that way in many of the same respects. Continue.
right. So my concern is that in the end, people are going to feel like this expansion is really just a PvP expansion. Because, like, for instance, right now, if I want to go to do the 32 PoE or the 34 PoE, I don't want, and I'm going to get an armor core or a weapon core. I don't want either one of those two items. Now, granted, I can take the weapon core and I can take the armor core and I can hold it for another week where it's something that he's selling that I want, but I don't want them, the ones that are there right now. I didn't really want the ones that were there last week, but I wanted to be 34. So all the keys that I've been farming for, I'm going to get these purple guns, and granted, you have a chance in an exotic, I get it, but for the most part,
you also have a chance at getting the Prison of Elders armor or the Fallen design weapons as well.
Correct. So you still have a chance, but at the end of the day, all these purple guns that I'm now deleting, because other than maybe the shotgun, there's a shotgun you can re-roll.
I'm so deleting that shotgun.
Well, you're right. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's not a real huge incentive for me to go spend 2 hours doing level 35 Skolas. That's a little bit different, or 34 struggling through, where I could just go do Crota, or I could go do whatever, or I could go do trials and just wait for Azur to come on Friday and have fun and go do trials. But the PoE thing has been, while it's fun, the activity is fun, the rewards are a little bit of a disappointment to me.
Well, I think that taken together, those two go hand in hand, because it starts you off where level 28 you can matchmake in that Prison of Elders, and then for higher than that you need to find 2 other people. Well, once you have those 2 other people and you all discuss it amongst yourselves and say, man, this really sucks, like I don't like these rewards, you can take those same 2 people that you've been playing with and roll them right into Trials of Osiris. Like I feel like if you have time to go into Prison of Elders and hate on those weapons and gear, then you have time to take those same people and roll them into Trials. And I think that's where the power is here. You know, if you can find 2 people and you're going to play some Prison of Elders, take them in right into Trials with you. And on that note, I was actually telling Agrios it would be funny if him and I and Sharks, because I was planning on Sharks being there, it would be funny if what we did was just go into Trials and dance. Like just buy a ticket, and then the 3 of us just dance. So then whoever's on the other end of this, they get this really easy match. You know, like we're just going to dance, you guys shoot us, and then that's who we are in their memory, you know? But then he starts talking to me about he's worried about KD ratio and what our thing, it's going to look like we suck. And I'm like, well, okay, but if we're going to die anyways, like if I'm going to go 1 and 3 every time, I might as well just dance.
Remy,
I might as well dance.
Frankly, my time is
wait. As the Guardian, hang on. As the Guardian 1 recruiter, I cannot allow you to go and just commit suicide in the Trials of Osiris. We will get a bad name. That's not okay.
But it would be so funny. And in the end, I relented. I do want the wins. But I don't. What's that?
I think that the PvPers in the past were left out in the cold just a little bit. I think they needed to be provided with more ways to get cool loot and advance and such. So I'm really thrilled about the Trials of Osiris offering access to the types of gears and etheric light it does. What I am a little disappointed about, and there's a lot of people out there who aren't good PvPers or just don't PvP at all. That's not something they enjoy spending their time doing. And all of their chances for Etheric Light are on weekly lockouts. The only way to earn bonus Etheric Light currently is through the Trials of Osiris. And I don't begrudge that chance being there for the PvPers to earn it, but I think there should have also been a difficult way to also get more chances at Etheric Light for the non-PvP crowd.
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
With the way they divvied out the loot awarding this time.
All right, why don't we move this conversation along and really quickly go over the places that you definitely don't want to stand next time Burning Shrine comes up what's that?
I actually have one thing that I want to say before I move on.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Kdub, I understand that the gear and the items that you get in Prison of Elders may not seem, worthy of your time, but the reason it's like that is because you were blessed by RNGesus to get this awesome gear, and not everybody has that sort of gear that you have. So this is an opportunity for those people who don't have really good gear at the time to get something that might be probably the best weapon that they've got so far. It's just one of those things that the way Destiny works with their loot system, and it's another opportunity for people to get great gear. The other thing is that us discussing the House of Wolves in a PvP-centric or a PvE-centric is kind of losing the value of what House of Wolves is offering, because you're going to get the people that are going to benefit the most out of playing this game is the people that play both.
Yes.
You're not so.
While I agree with you, the people that are the kindergartens that maybe are newer that you're referring to, maybe that haven't had the RNGesus or whatever, and believe me, RNGesus hates my ass because I don't have.
I think you're referring to
I don't
people
have
like
I don't have a Hunger quota. I don't have a Galahorn, but you can go back and do some. You can still go back and do the older content and get that gear that I'm talking about, and you can ascend it, and it's. All I'm saying is that we've got this new content that came out that we're all fired up about, and I love it. I really do, and it's fun. The point that I'm making is that the rewards that I'm getting doing that content aren't any better than the guns or the rewards that I already had. But I agree with what you're saying. The newer people, hey, they want to look at the content and they're going to get this stuff, and it's great. And I like it. I like the looks of it. I like the aesthetics are great. But I mean, if you look at Datto or look at a number of other people that are talking about how those guns are, they're not. I just wish they were more. That's all I'm saying.
Totally. I kind of feel like they they either intentionally or unintentionally put out some really, really great legendaries in the original content and then the first expansion. And then with this one, they wanted to keep the gear workable. They wanted to keep it, but they wanted to tone down the power. And I feel like that both, plays into, if you've been playing since day one, you have some really sweet gear. If you haven't been playing since day one, here's some gear that's going to work. But so you're right on a certain level, Kdub. It's very much, here is some gear that is neither here nor there in terms of like, is it better or is it not? One of probably the only thing that I've gotten so far that has really been different to me is I picked up a pest control matrix that had counter stability and perfect balance, and also Icarus. And Icarus makes you more. It makes you more accurate while you're in the air, and this changes the way the game is played for me. Like I am an air player, and I've learned how to use weapons that don't have this Icarus on it, and so now that they do, it's insanely cooler. But you're totally right. It's almost an across. It's almost a lateral movement. But you got cut off, River. You were saying something. I think the last thing that we heard was you were talking about people who don't play both sides are the one who's going to lose out on this. Why don't you finish that thought?
No, that was pretty much it, because the people that are going to benefit most from the loot system is the people that do both PvP and PvE. And this is Bungie's answer to that, so that, we're going to reward you for trying something out of your comfort zone. Go have fun and see what you guys think. And I really encourage anybody out there who play one or the other to try doing the stuff, get out of your comfort zone, because they're going to reward you for it if you keep on trying it, as long as you keep playing it. I mean, it's another way for you to get great loot, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah. And really the thing about Crucible, for those that don't play it, is that comfort level is insanely important. And I feel like once I played a couple of games, I wasn't so worried about this one death or this one kill. It didn't become, I died this one time, because I've died 50 times since then. It wasn't about this one kill. It's the overall. And the only way you're going to become comfortable with it is by continuing to go in there. And sometimes it's super frustrating, but if you're just able to put that to the side and play the content, I think that you're going to find it is really rewarding.
So I've been biding my time for some reason. Just been lots of talk. I did want to mention that those purple weapons that you're pointing out are bonus. They're not the loot of the PoE. They're just something else that you can get from it. They're the queen's weapons. They're meant to be just flashy things that you have. Like, I don't think they're meant to be top of the line. And another reason why they're not top of the line is because if we keep making weapons better and better every expansion, you're going to have this power creep, and eventually you're just going to have this scout rifle that shoots like a Gjallarhorn.
Right.
But now there's a counterpoint to my own argument, is the fact that the fallen weapons are pretty bad because they keep rolling shank burn. Like if it was more like the armor has bonuses based off of each different type of enemy that you can face in there. So it's like, wear these boots before you enter, and you'll have more melee and grenade. Like, you'll recharge faster if you do it before the first wave, or if you equip it before the first wave for like a Cabal. Now, if they did it so that each weapon had a burn for a certain type, that might be more reason to have that particular type of weapon on hand.
Okay, so you saying that right now, Jez, reminded me of. So what I really wanted out of Trials was that summoner. Like, I loved the profile, I loved the perks on it, and I wanted it so bad. And then somebody posted, I went to the lighthouse and check out this summoner, and it was the adept version that had a burn on it. And then all of a sudden, I didn't give a crap about that summoner that what's-his-face was selling. So then I let go. I was like, well, you know what? I didn't really want that anyways. Well, the one I want is the one with the burn on it.
Well, it's funny, though, because the level 35 Skolas drops the primary weapons with an element. That's the only way to get the elemental type from Prison of Elders. If you buy it from the dude, he just sells it with... It's like... The one that Skolas drops is like Wolf Slayer 2. So it has like a number after it, and that one has a burn attached. And the burns are... the elemental types are random, I believe.
Yes, they are.
It's rolled whenever the weapon drops, just like how when you roll the chance, it could be like, oh, shank burn, yay! I love killing shanks with shotguns.
Yeah,
true story. I have a shotgun with shank burn, which is useless unless there's a big giant shank.
Right, you know what? You're gonna break that down, and you're gonna feel foolish. You're gonna be like, "Man, I should have kept it."
Hey, I'm not breaking it down because it's decent on its own.
While we're talking about these weapons, something that should be noted that has been pointed out and discussed on Reddit, in particular, there's a really good article someone put together about the subject. But compared to the former raid weapons from the Vault of Glass and Crota's End, these weapons don't quite seem to shine. I mean, they do have the bonus ability to be able to roll in any element you want. So you can get the specific type of gun that fires the type of element you want if you get RNG lucky enough. But unlike the old raid weapons, their burn, their dreg burn, shank burn, what have you, is not a bonus node. It actually takes the place of the second node that would normally apply to all the enemies you're fighting.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's a whole perk missing from these end game guns that isn't missing from the previous ones. So that poses the question in many of these situations: why would I bother carrying this gun with me and taking care of this gun and leveling this gun and spending my time using it when I can level up this previous ray gun that, although it doesn't have shank burn on it, it has another perk that's useful against all of my enemies.
In some ways, though, that also means the Vault of Glass weapons aren't as
useful
powerful
as the ones from Crota.
Yeah, because the Crota ones are useful everywhere.
Absolutely.
For all Hive compared to the Vault of Glass ones, which is
right.
just
That's amazing.
Ones in the vault.
Glass weapons, it's a bonus ability. So compared to legendaries, they're better than.
I think you're roboting.
Right, I didn't know he spoke R2D2.
You did.
Agrios, we're losing you, my friend. Sad that we.
I think he just said, "Obi-Wan, you're my only hope."
Right.
Obi-Wan, you're my only hope.
That came in clearer.
So what were you saying, Agrios?
Well, I'm not sure where I left off, but I would say that like the Vault of Glass ones, at least their perk that's only good in the mention something on that again. But the perk that's only good in the Vault of Glass doesn't replace the second perk on the line that's good for everybody, like the current weapons do. And if you think about that whole disruptor perk, Vault of Glass, that mines they will fully do the mines you destroy.
Sad.
I think what he's trying to say is that the Oracle Disruptor perk on your Vault of Glass weapons actually affect the mines in Prison of Elders, which is, I think it's unintended, but it's a nice perk to have.
I did not know this. I will be using that next.
All right, so I want to get to these. I want to get to these heat maps up in here, but I also wanted to get to the Prison of Elders, talk about that, and also, you know what, Agrios, are you there?
I am here. If you can hear me.
You know what, you're coming in choppy, but why don't we go to the House of Wolves? Why don't we go to those heat maps real quick? I'll throw them here on the screen for everybody to see, and you can narrate if you can narrate.
The first heat map illustrates where the Trials of the Cyrus combatants spent most of their time, with the red zone showing the target-rich environments where most of the fights took place. You can see that primary main hallway was the extreme hot zone, along with the sniper spots going out the door toward the spot in the sun that Kdub was so happy with earlier.
Okay, so what's that?
Yeah, I guess. Well, you know what's interesting on this map? One of the places that isn't hot is if you look at the bottom right. There's that block on the bottom right.
Uh-huh.
That's the place that we ran to, and we would hide behind that and snipe and shoot and let them come to us. And there is no red there. I never lost in that location.
Yeah, I think that was a good plan. We should have stuck with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I can't believe that there's no red there. That's like the number one place. When we were on the outside, we ran the A flag behind that brick, and we hung out there and just shot as people tried to come in. I'm surprised that there's no red there.
Well, I'm thinking the red is people dying.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've seen most people use that section of the outside for is they'll snipe, especially from... you see all those, it's slightly red halfway up a quarter way up the outside. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch that are just hanging out there. That would be all the people that snipe from that block inside to into B and into inside A.
Or is
And-
that people hanging out of the heavy ammo?
Yes.
No,
okay,
heavy ammo.
so-
Heavy ammo is a deep red. I'm
So-
talking about the little bit.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so this map that is on the screen right now, it shows where Guardians spent their most time. Like what this map illustrates is where people spent their most time. The
Right.
next map is the map that shows what is it, Agrios?
It's where the snipers. It has a heat map showing their favorite perches where they were sniping from. So all the little red dots on there are where the snipers were hanging out, popping your skulls.
Okay, so
and it's reversed too. The map
It's
somehow
reversed,
got flipped.
Yeah.
okay, so the blue shows where they've spent the most time.
No, the
Well,
red.
it's a heat map, so the blue is where anybody may have been, I believe. Like on both the maps, the blue is where somebody was at some point. But the red, when it starts to turn to red, that's where most of them killed from.
Right.
So there's just a couple little patches, like right in the center where the bridge goes together, right where you'd be going out the door opposite of A to the outside where the one spawn was in the sun. You can see little red patches around those doors and columns, and by the bridges in the centers there. Those were all hot sniper perches where you would be getting picked off from.
If you notice too, you see the red stripe going straight, right? So going from where you come in from the C side from the outside to the bridge, to the A bridge, those are pointing at each other. And that was like the sniper spot right there. You know, you saw that in the reveal with Triple Wreck. That's where he was going. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so my most comfortable place was right here. So when we would start inside, I would make my way to this area right behind this little block, and I would watch as people would run through this door right here to try and get to here. So if you could beat them to this area, then you were going to get the shot on them first, and that's really I hate to say it, but Destiny really is if you didn't see them first, you're not going to kill them. And that's not to say that that's what happens every single time, but most often the only way I win is if I see them first. It's not guaranteed that that's the outcome, but you have so much greater of a chance if they don't see you before you've broken their shield. Like that is huge.
Yeah. See, our plan, we had one person sniping across the map if someone stayed on the other side, or sniping to the bridge. And I would stay slightly outside and shoot up towards the other side of the bridge, up the stairs. And if we picked off like 2 people, then we would just rush the last guy. Just because then he's on the ropes and we have the numbers.
Yeah. Too good on you, rush. Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything more about this Trials, Agrios?
Well, Deej then goes on to question senior designer Derek Carroll about the location of the next Trials event. An interesting exchange follows, and ultimately it leaves us without an answer, though we're directed to Derek Carroll's Twitter account to try and pry the answer from him. So I imagine if we find out at all before the launch, it will be there.
Got it.
The next section...
Guesses on where it would be?
That one on Venus.
I'm kind of agreeing with Bell Bunny that it's Russia, since he was putting up pictures of the Kremlin President Putin up there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's it.
See,
Guaranteed.
the other clue was in the words where he said iron, and they keep referring to Mars as the iron planet.
Interesting.
I don't know. I like the Russia thing. He was like, "You mad,
Yeah,
bro?"
I think it's Russia. I'm gonna have to go with that. That's pretty. I can't believe I didn't pick up on that. I kind of dumb.
And I've been watching the exchange between Bell and Bungie, and they're like, "No, we're not that clever," but of course they're that clever.
Right. Of course they're that clever. Moving on.
We're sticking with the Crucible. This time we're going to talk about some cheaters. There were some among you who took nefarious action against your opponents. Our intrepid team of investigators have diagnosed the most egregious cheaters among us. If you earned your victories by sinister means, you may very well have also earned a temporary or permanent timeout. Bungie is always watching. We enjoy a fair fight, and we aim to protect the landscape of the game. Play nice. So this was their warning. Apparently, they've been able to identify. There's reports in the community about Bungie contacting back people who are presenting them with video evidence of cheaters, and hopefully they get this squashed.
That's exciting. That's exciting. I I hope they get their loot taken away.
I hope they get permanently banned. A temporary ban is just too little for something like that.
Yeah, agreed.
Got it.
Like you can't even get around. Be like, well, I didn't really mean to. It's not like it was
No.
like you're exploiting to get extra glimmer or something like that. That's a low blow. There's you can go to apparently some of these cheaters Destiny tracker pages, and you can see they have like an overwhelmingly amount of wins in the trials, and they're all 3 versus 2, 3 versus 1 because they're forcibly booting members of the other teams. And
That's
they just
crazy.
have hundreds of these wins. So imagine the amount of stuff that they've had and used and processed at this point.
As frustrated as at least 2 people in this panel are, they need a permanent ban.
Right on. Moving on.
They go on to say that some of you have encountered the olive error, are not actually victims of any shenanigans. You just ran afoul of a bug, which isn't your fault. And as of this morning, that bug's been fixed. So your experience in the Crucible should greatly improve. It's good to hear that not so many people are going to get olived out of this week's Trials of Osiris. Staying on the Crucible track once again, next week the Iron Banner returns for the first time since House of Wolves has dropped. Lord Saladin will be back in the tower on Tuesday, June 2nd, bringing with him some brand new gear, including boots, gauntlets, fusion rifles, scout rifles, and etheric light. The new changes that were implemented with 1.2.0.1, that's the House of Wolves update, with all kinds of points in there. This will be the first time we experience these changes, and they include lower-ranked Guardians on your account will receive a reputation boost to catch up to your higher-ranked Guardians more quickly. The rewards are going to cost less glimmer. The grind is less real. Etheric Light is available for purchase at rank 3 and 5. Awesome. The gunsmith has inherited Lord Saladin's weapon reforging service, so I take this to mean Lord Saladin probably won't reforge the guns anymore, and that'll be just be done strictly at the gunsmith.
That's what it sounds like.
Power still matters, and it matters a little more as the delta between 2 players increases.
I like that.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, really good.
All for that. And I'm sure Kdub will be thrilled about this one. The Cauldron and Pantheon have been added to the playlist along with Exodius Blue on the PlayStation.
I'm so thrilled.
So you'll have fun on those maps you don't know.
Yep.
Excellent.
It's worth noting that this week you'll be able to get 6 Etheric Light guaranteed if you play everything.
Well, so all right, so hang on. In the update, they don't mention how many Etheric Light you can buy at each level.
I would
But
assume
they
it's just
said
one.
1 at 3 and 1 at 5.
Is that what it is? Okay, all right, 1 at 3 and 1 at 5. Okay.
Because chances are, just like the...
If you could just continue to buy the Etheric Light, they'd only just say it's available at rank 3, because then you'd just be able to buy it.
But what
So they say
if,
3 at
if
rank
it,
5.
yeah,
so
I would
think
think
you
it like
buy
I would
one
think it like
each.
1 at 3 and 2 at 5 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I guess.
They're not that generous.
Right.
Yeah.
I think 2 plus whatever armor is quite generous.
Yeah.
Right on.
Do we know the light level of the armor that's coming?
I'm hoping 42.
Yeah, I
Well,
would say
historically, it's been 42 or been max. So
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they're going to want you to
Yeah, I
use
don't
the
know.
Etheric. Maybe that's why they're selling
Yeah.
Etheric Light,
Yeah,
so
I
that you
don't
can
know.
level
That's
up
a
and
good
go
point.
around.
I think it's gonna be
Banner stuff.
36. Yeah.
Because they have put it out below max level as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hard to
I don't
tell.
know. I'm thinking it's
36,
not going to be.
Yeah.
well, that was I think the first one.
No, it was more than
So-
the first
It
one.
could be the first one of this power armor level then too.
I mean, look at all the armor that you're getting in trials. It's all 36.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet
Well-
that it's probably not ascended yet, and you're probably gonna need to use Etheric Light to ascend it, and that's part of their reasoning for selling the Etheric Light.
Now, the drop gear from Trials is kind of the bonus as well. It's just a second set to give you something compared to like the armor that you get for buying from the vendor and
Yeah,
actually
Yeah.
from getting the 9-0 chest.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
totally. It's
And
plus
it
36.
looks different too. Quite different.
It looks awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unless you're a hunter, then
Well.
don't look at your face.
Yeah.
I need that Nighthawk, is what it is.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
thing is badass. That was the
Oh.
first thing. That was the first thing I got from a Nightfall.
Oh, you got
was-
it too?
Yeah.
Jeez,
Oh, really
I
quick,
still
really
hadn't
quick,
got
really
it.
quick. Sidebar: how many engrams did everybody go through with Zur this week?
Okay, I
Two.
bought two. I
Yeah.
bought two, and I felt like an idiot for doing that. Sharks bought. Was it Sharks bought 17?
22.
Sharks bought
Good
22.
night.
Oh my
I
god!
did.
swear, I may be wrong on that. But I think it was 22.
I wanted the Titan one with the something warrior. I forget the name of it now. I went through 17.
Eternal Warrior.
Yeah, Eternal Warrior. I went through 17. Yeah.
Oh my!
I got the ram. I got the ram on my very first one, and I had to go through 16 more to get the Eternal Warrior, and I did not get the Nighthawk. Yeah, yeah. There's Sharks 24. Right. Strider went
Wow.
through 47.
Oh my god!
Oh, 47.
So,
47.
Yeah.
I'm gonna highlight that.
You know, I kind of wish I counted how many I went through, but it was definitely in the upper 20s.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't understand, and let me ask you this, Jez. So were you just trying to make Destiny something that you didn't have to do? Because I imagine that we're gonna get these, through over the course of like Nightfalls and things like this. Like before Sharks bought all those, he said, "Oh, I don't know if I should buy anymore." And I'm like, "Well, don't, because then when you get them, you're gonna be excited you got them instead of, oh, I bought 800 engrams to do this." So were you just trying to get it out of the way? Like, here's these 3 new ones, or what is it that drove you to do that? Because after I spent 2 and I got 2 helmets that I already got, I thought, what am I doing? I will either get these or I won't. Like, was there a specific goal for you there, or it just content must devour content?
Well, firstly, my hunter is a blade dancer, so I bought it purely on looks and novelty alone, or that's what I was going for. So I don't use it that often, to be honest. And the content itself it's not for me about getting the random exotics, just because I'm gonna get them anyways. I'm not too worried about that. And usually when I get one, I'm like, oh, I got it. Do I have it? No. Then I store it. I usually just don't. I usually stick with things that I always use.
Yeah.
But this specifically, I just didn't want to. It was half me wanting to just have it, and then half me wanting exotic shards, and also having the chance of getting this stuff. So that replenished my exotic shard stock.
That's a good call. Yeah.
I'm not that worried about it. I mean, I know there's seven coins, but this blue motes of light, which I'm swimming in, so I'm not too worried about.
Right.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. So first, I've done 3. I've done 3 Nightfalls since House of Wolves drops. First one was Nighthawk, Ethereal Nighthawk. The second one was Ethereal Light, and the third one was 9 coins. And this was a Nightfall that Agrios and I ran, and we both got 9 coins. And at first I thought to myself, okay, Agrios just pressed the wrong button. And when we go back to Orbit, I'll show him that we really just did the weekly and we were worried about dying for nothing. But when we got back to Orbit and it said the Nightfall had been completed and the weekly hadn't, I thought, why in the hell would they give you the same reward for the weekly, in the Nightfall? Like, it didn't make any sense. And if I was trying to get somewhere in Destiny right now, I would be pissed. What are those 9 coins going to do for me? That's about 4 motes of light. You basically gave me 4.5 motes of light for this, and I don't really feel like that's Nightfall. Nightfall.
Strange coins isn't a great Nightfall reward to begin with, but if you're going to keep strange coins on the list, I think I said that they should at least be 50% more than the weekly. Like, the lowest number of strange coins you should ever get from a Nightfall would be like 14 or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, and
I'm pretty sure currently the highest you can get is like 12.
11 is the most I've ever gotten.
I seen a 12 once.
I've
That's it.
gotten 12. I've gotten 12. So yeah, you can get 12.
So
But
yeah,
I also agree. Like, you know, you're doing the Nightfall. This
Should be twice as many.
is part of the hardest content for PvE, and your rewards sometimes are worse than what you get from the weekly.
right. Yeah,
Well, a
that's
lot of times actually the Nightfall is easier just because of burns. So
this is true.
it's kind of funny. It's easier in some sense, and it's also more punishing.
Yeah.
So it defends the patient play
Yeah.
compared
Yeah,
to the weekly, which is just a slightly harder strike.
I still think I've always burned through a weekly faster than a Nightfall, though. I don't think I've ever done like a weekly, or like a. I don't think I've ever done a weekly like slower than I did that Nightfall.
Right.
You know, like you're
Absolutely.
always playing more cautious. You're investing more time, and then to get those 9 coins, you're just like, what the freak? Like,
Right.
Well, this week's Nightfall had no burns, and we tend to play a lot less cautious. We're dancing with the, well, not dancing, but we're like running up to the Devil Walker with our 4th Horseman in tow, just smashing the legs down as quick as possible, just because it's more interesting than sitting back with snipers saying, "Oh yeah, really good fish today." Like it's that fishing vibe that you get. You just sitting back and barely have to deal with anything. It's just kind of boring in a way.
Can I just say, why did they put Brawler in with Light Switch?
It's to make you want to punch them and then
That's
die.
right.
It's such a fail. It was
Not only
like-
that, but I feel annoyed that Brawler is less effective, it seems, than Light Switch.
Well, the
Agreed.
best part is it's Brawler, Light Switch, and Angry, which means when you punch
Right.
them, they don't stagger.
Right. It just pisses them off.
Right.
Like if you could stagger them, you probably could get a lot of punches in on one dude. But you're always going to be screwed if you ganged up by a bunch of stealth vandals. But yeah, don't play their tricks. Don't punch them.
Yeah, I felt really bad today. I was running the Nightfall with one of our fans here, Wolf Bible, over in the chat there, and he really wanted a Galahorn, and I managed to pop a Galahorn, which just turns into a shard for me. So I don't know what's better, 9 coins or a shard.
That's funny. Yeah, 9 coins or a shard. I don't know. And you know what? I like getting coins. I actually really
Technically-
like getting coins.
Technically, 9 coins is better because it's
2 more
Right.
coins.
than
2
a
more
shard.
coins.
Agreed.
Right. So that's what I mean. I was put in perspective. Once you get to the point where you have so many exotics that almost any exotic you're likely to get is just simply a shard from you. When you put it in that perspective, I don't know what's better. So
Okay, so I want to move on to other news. I want to get to what everybody's gotten from Prison of Elders, because I feel like we've had a lot more time with that content, and I think that that's something that we should talk about. I did want to talk to you about this real quick, Agrios, on air, because it's something that I've been going back and forth on, and we were talking about shoot to loot sniper rifles, having them in your inventory, and you told me that they were basically worthless.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, anytime.
Just before we move from this subject, and we kind of talked about PvP earlier, and now we're doing a lot of PvE. But Reddit today had a really good post talking about, since Trials is starting again, and let's be respectful and go through the channels that Bungie has given us if we run into cheaters or people who are abusing the system. Let's not do witch hunts. Let's not.
We talk
shame
about like
people.
road justice, like driving out to their house or something. You want to unplug your router in the middle of a game? Here.
Well,
Reddit's
publicly
post
shaming
was,
them.
Yeah, don't find these people on Bungie and post all of their stats and say this person's cheating. Report them and send that to Bungie, but don't put it on social media. Don't find these people's PSN and gamer tags and post that everywhere. Be respectful about those people's rights, even though they are disrespecting you by cheating. Just be respectful. Don't troll the people who are trolling you, because that's never fun anyway. And be the bigger guardian.
I would never endorse anything illegal, But if you're 100% certain that they're cheating, I encourage everyone to go out and post their stuff everywhere and get them shamed to death.
Right. I'll think about what you've said here today, Crimson Warlock. But really, if someone is cheating on that level, it's going to be really hard for me not to post a picture of their gamer tag and say,
it is
avoid
against
a
Reddit's
douchebag.
rules.
The
It is against
problem-
Reddit's rules, and they can, like the mods say that they'll have to ban you if you do it on Reddit. Because
Oh
that
yeah, I
is-
meant on like Twitter. I wouldn't go to Reddit. That's
I
crazy.
respect Reddit's rules. Absolutely.
The problem you could
Crimson,
run into is what if they're not cheating and it's just a bug on Bungie's end, and now you're shaming someone despite it not actually being
That's
their
why
fault.
I said if you're 100% certain they're cheating, you can go to Destiny Tracker, and if they're using this glitch over and over again, you're going to see an overwhelming number of matches that they won at 3 versus 2 or 3 versus 1 because they keep getting one person booted, so it shows their win as 3v1 or 3v2.
Yep.
So if you go there and their Destiny Tracker list is filled with those wins, they're a cheater.
Well, right on.
And before we continue on, I actually have to.
You have what?
I actually have to go.
Right on. Well, it was great having you, River. And
shout out.
yeah, shout out.
shout
Oh,
out, shout
Bell
out.
Bunny.
She is here, and you guys know I love her. But
We all
Kdub, I do appreciate you being here today.
River,
You are a
thank
great
you.
representative of Guardian 1, and it's always great to talk to you, man. Thanks for being
Get
on the
your
show today.
PS4, my brother.
Right.
Yeah,
as soon as
one
we
of these
buy him
days,
one,
dog.
we gotta buy him one. Kdub, we need to
We gotta
make a pool.
Start a
what is
GoFundMe.
his name? Yeah, GoFundMe River for a PS4.
Because we all got Hawk Moons on this panel now. All of us got Hawk Moons.
I got a Hawk Moon on Tuesday.
right?
No, wait,
Crimson
funny.
Warlock got a Hawk Moon.
Real quick before River goes, I think River's going to get a PS4 a Hawk Moon before I get a Galahorn.
That's funny. We'll see.
I
will
was saying that
see.
about my Hawk Moon. You just keep going for that Gorgon chest, man.
Congratulations to you all, by the way.
Yeah, Crimson finally got his final one, so yeah, you're the last one here on the podcast without one.
I know,
Eh.
man.
It almost took a year.
Right on. Well, next week,
Yeah.
River, we got Mark coming on the show. Let's do it.
Oh
Do
yeah,
it.
I'll be there.
I'll tell you what, waiting that year, it was a very sweet victory when I finally got it.
Bet.
Right on, man. Well, have a good one, and we will see you next week.
Later, River.
You guys take care.
Yeah.
Later.
All right. Where were we? Oh, yes. Talking about that shoot to loot sniper rifle. So I carry one shoot to loot on each of my characters in sniper rifle form and in scout rifle form. And for the longest time, I hadn't really been using the sniper rifle one because I really feel like you mostly have primary ammo. Like it's secondary ammo that you run out of faster than primary ammo. And so you were saying, Agrios, that when you just don't even carry a shoot-to-loot sniper rifle because you can pretty much hit everything that you need with this scout rifle. And so I was... I thought about it, and I said, you know what? Agrios is right. I don't really ever use shoot-to-loot sniper rifle because then I won't have the ability to, I won't be maximizing my... the secondary ammo that I pick up, and so I deleted it. I deleted that that shoot to loot sniper, and I use the green one so I'm not confusing it with other blues that I pick up. Like it stands out in my inventory, and I know that's what that is. I'm never questioning why there is a fully upgraded uncommon weapon in my inventory, and I did it. I said, you know what? Agrios is right. I can save 3 slots right now, and it's really come down to that with how many weapons and gear that I have. I really need every single slot available. I deleted it, and I shit you not, on the very next mission out on Venus, I picked up that same exact shoot-to-loot sniper rifle, and it was in my inventory again, and it was totally unleveled, and I thought, oh my god, what is going on? Like, the game is talking to me.
Remy?
The cat.
No, it
came
was
back
green.
The very next day.
It was green.
I was gonna say that. I swear to God.
So I don't know what to do now because I was totally in. But if I'm just going to keep getting this same exact shoot to loot sniper rifle, I might as well just keep it in my inventory.
Well, here's
No,
the other
Ricky,
thing.
I've probably dismantled 150,000 of those things. I've never missed one. Ever.
Yeah.
Well, he's talking about a new purple one.
Yep, I have it. Strider just put it in the chat, and I just picked it up. I forget the name of
So-
it, but I got it, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I never used my blue one. I used to stash them in my vault, and I didn't have room for it. I had to finally get rid of it, but I didn't have room for it.
All
So
the
here's
new
the one
ones can
difference.
roll. Shoot to loot.
So it was actually that legendary rifle that brought all of this up for me and Agrios to talk about. And I told him, I said, "Oh, you know what? I should buy this purple sniper rifle because I was at 200 marks and I hate wasting incoming marks. So I said maybe I should buy this. It'd be really cool." And that's when Agrios lays on me. He's like, "I don't even use shoot-to-lit sniper rifles." And
The other thing I said. Now that it's on a legendary, there is this option. If you really like the shoot to loot feature, the only way that it's really viable, I think, now, because you lose ammo when you switch away from it, would be to roll yourself, sacrifice a perk and roll yourself a good shoot to loot sniper rifle that's a good sniper rifle in all other regards, ignoring the shoot to loot. And then run that as your default when you don't need a specific element on to do something specific, sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, you could put shoot to loot and surplus on it. That wouldn't be a bad combo. And then, all the bricks that drop produce significantly more ammo for the things you have, and you can pick it up from far away. You could potentially be just a perpetual sniper off a ledge with that.
Man, that's really awesome. Okay, so the second part to this story, after I got that green shoot to loot sniper rifle, I no kidding picked up a rare shoot to loot scout rifle with explosive rounds, and you were saying
the perfect one.
Right, and you were saying that the explosion that produces picks up everything in that area.
Everything that the explosion hits gets shoot to looted.
Okay.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So, with a good scope on a scout rifle like that, and with the explosive radius of where you're hitting, I mean, you can pretty much pick up any loot box that you could possibly see.
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel that way as well, and I don't know. I feel like I will let this roll out, and I will just see where it goes. But I really do think I need to let go of the sniper, or like you were saying, roll a good sniper and go from there. So I don't know.
I just put in the chat the name of that. The amplified GOD6 is that new.
Oh yeah.
And that's the one available from the guard, though. You could roll any sniper you wanted into a shoot.
Right.
I'm right now I'm trying to move the graphic around so I can see your name, Kdub. And for the first part of the show, for the first part of your show, the tip of this hunter's Suros was covering up the bottom part of the B, so your name was Kdub for like 20 minutes at the beginning.
No big deal, dude.
Cool. Well, let's move on. What do you got? What do you got now, Agrios?
Well, wrapping up the what's in the weekly update, they note that the live team has had a chance to learn a lot since the House of Wolves launch, and the things that they're talking about right now are the all of code errors and other Crucible disconnects that we mentioned before, Mercury emblems that don't appear in people's inventories, treasure key famine and the farmers who need relief, ammo synthesis that piles up in your inventories, quest chips or shaders not being granted by a prison of elders, and encounters with known prison inmate bosses. So these are the issues that are on the forefront of the live team's minds. They also note that the next update is going to be 1.2.0.2, and details are yet to come on that, though.
Excellent.
Have any of you gotten into Prison of Elders to play Quadron?
I have not.
I was going to mention.
Which one's that one? The Minotaur?
Yeah, it's the Minotaur.
I have played that one on 28.
Oh, no. It being a boss is a bit different.
He's a named person with special abilities.
Yeah.
Because you know how Rocks last week had the burning floor effect? Well, he doesn't have that in level 28.
Okay.
So
yeah, I faced him on 28, so not, I guess, the boss version of him.
But it's such a fun fight, and it's so... A lot of people are really mad at, like, not so much the mechanics, but the amount of things that they throw at you. but it's fun when you get it down. It's a proper boss fight.
So do you have some tips for people? You know, like don't piss into the wind or whatever. Is there a good a good
Keep an eye out for the eye.
keep an eye out for the eye? I like it.
That's about it. Although it would be kind of cooler if it was like a Cyclops. A Cyclops boss with a mob called the Eye would be much more thematic, I think.
Awesome. Continuing.
Wrapping up the weekly update this week, they show the movie of the week. This week, it's actually they have present 2 GIFs or GIFs or whatever that they pulled from Amiger, and they're pretty good GIFs. The first one is a sniper rifle pulling off some spectacular shooting, and he wipes an entire team out with, I think, a single clip. I'm not sure if he reloaded it in there, but very quickly.
What were those idiots all doing standing there in one area? I didn't understand.
They're having some sort of meeting, I know. What the hell?
Well,
They having a dance party?
chances are that many people grouped together means heavy spawn.
Yeah, that might have been what they were hovering around. That's a good point.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's only a quick little sequence that you see there, so you don't get a lot of context around it. But that seems like a likely scenario that they're grouped around the heavy.
You'd think the last dude that was watching his buddies drop like flies would have maybe jumped or something.
He stayed in the middle of an open field, and he probably just knelt down and prayed.
Oh, actually, re-looking at the GIF, heavy drops in like 2 seconds after everyone's dead.
Okay, all right, good.
Or actually, when everyone's dead, heavy spawned.
That's funny.
Nice. So, continuing on, IGN has confirmed that a Destiny expansion will have some form of presence at E3 2015. This could perhaps be the trademark that we saw filed, the Taken King, along with a hive symbol. The trademark was filed by the same person who filed the Dark Below and the House of Wolves trademark, so in all likelihood, this is definitely a Bungie thing. Is that what you guys suspect? Do you think it's going to be the Taken King we're going to see, or do you think it's just going to be the next expansion that won't necessarily be the Taken King? What's up with this?
I think the most interesting part is the fact that it's like the symbol itself is hive, and we just came off of a hive expansion. It's weirdly soon.
I suppose the way I looked at it, though, it seems to me that we're getting 4 expansions total on a comet, and each of the expansions is themed around one of the races. That leaves the comet up for grabs for anybody. I'm kind of hoping that perhaps for the first time we're going to start to get some of the races interwoven with one another. All our storylines are very, even though we see them fighting in different places, we're still very much dealing with each of the races on a one-on-one basis rather than,
like,
at what point is there going to be an attack so hardcore that, the Hive the Fallen are also going to be attacking the Hive at the same time as us?
What about this? The Taken King, who was he taken by? Was he taken by another race? So is it really a Fallen thing? Is it really
This goes into something else interesting as to what is motivating the Hive, what is controlling the Hive. There's a lot of concept art from the past and a lot of good supporting grimoire cards and such that the Hive are infected by something, such as something along the lines of a light-eating worm or something, and that this is all a struggle for them to figure out how to free themselves from this infection that also makes them immortal. So the Taken King, he's taken by these things.
Right. It could be.
I'd still like to know why we are so hated as Guardians. That when Hive and Fallen are fighting each other and you shoot at one of them, they all target you at once. Like,
because we're the minions.
I really want to know where that is.
We shine brighter.
It's God.
Right, we're light, they're dark.
Well, we can explain that just through lore alone. Like the Hive are probably more drawn to us because we're lighter than the Fallen. Like, we have the Traveler, and they probably hate us more. And the Fallen hate us more just because we have the Traveler, and they don't anymore.
Oh yeah, what if they were favored previously? Travelers showed up to the Fallen homeworld, and the Fallen were like, "Oh man, you gave us another pair of arms and another pair of eyes and all of this great stuff. Let's hang out." And then the rest of the darkness shows up, and then the Traveler's like, "Oh, look at the time."
Like
My girlfriend left me for that dude.
Like,
all the Grimoire from this expansion is nice.
oh, what was
It's-
It is.
I said all this expansion's Grimoire is pretty, very lore and very backstory heavy. Like even more so than it was.
The card where Solus is freed is extremely interesting. That poses all kinds of interesting questions.
Do you have the text for it available to read?
I could find it
Because
I feel like the Rift or the Reef Wars was a Attack of the Clones Destiny style.
I feel like even passively, so many things are being brought up. Hegemony sent to me last week a list of all the things that Brother Ezio says in the Reef, and it's really interesting. Like, these are just things that he happened to say because you walked up.
Did you say Brother Ezio?
Yeah, Brother Ezio. I couldn't remember what his name was.
Brother
Vance?
Vance.
Yeah, Brother Vance, and I always think about Ezio when I walk up to him. Brother Ezio.
I think.
Well,
I
okay,
think
so we've got
thing-
Brother Ezio and we've got Queen Dude, right? Like,
Queen Dude, and also Rafiki.
Hey, don't disrespect Petra like that. Come on.
Right? That's Jez's girlfriend, dude. What the hell? Although I do have to give you crap, Jez, for just ditching Eris like that. One day you're like
Yeah.
head over heels, and then it's just like Eris who,
That waxing and
Well-
all that, man.
It was like 6 months.
So you think that you've given her a good enough buffer of time? Well, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Petra gave us a cooler weapon than Eris too. That Festing Dynasty, that thing is awesome.
Right.
I want to switch my Hunter Blade for that one that she has. I'm just saying it again.
You know what? I was thinking. Okay, bringing up the subject of that, I found the Grimoire card, by the way. I can read it if you like. It's a little bit long. But as far as the blade goes, wouldn't it be interesting if your blade that your hunter used changed based on something you're wearing, like the pants, for instance, because that seems to be where the blade is mounted. For
Dude,
instance,
that would be
the
sweet.
Dark Below raid pants have that blade on the side that looks all hivey. Or like I know there's even a nightstick on one of the old ones.
Okay,
If
so
the
yeah.
weapon attached to your pants, wouldn't that be awesome?
Totally. Okay, so you asked, what we thought where we're going to see at E3, and my answer, like I just let everybody else answer because mine was really a non-answer, in that Bungie has basically beaten me into recognizing that they will tell us whatever they want to tell us whenever the hell they're going to tell us. Because when I saw those pants before the game released, I thought, oh my god, like what if your melee changes based on what you're wearing? Like, I wanted my melee to be my dude knight sticking a fallen in the face. And that's not what turned out to be. It has, absolutely nothing to do with it. So yes, Agrios, you're right. That would be so awesome. And I've already coveted that so badly. And so yeah. So my answer: what are we going to see at E3? Whatever Bungie wants us to see, whenever the hell they're going to show it to us.
Like,
Watch.
as cool as that would be to have, let's say you could put on some other type of gear and have a void blade instead of an arc blade.
Totally.
But that totally is going to hose the whole next subclass thing that they're going to do.
Well, no,
Well,
I don't think you should change what
cosmetic.
type of blade you're using as far as like whether it's void or arc or something. I'm just talking about the cosmetic look of the blade to keep it interesting.
Right. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that would be cool. And that's not what's going to happen. So just imagine whatever you're going to see at E3 and take it down 10 pegs, and then that's what we're going to see at E3.
Watch at E3. They're like, oh, did you see a fist slot? Oh, that's where we keep our cosmetic items for your melee.
Right.
It's like, what?
You know what? And I will be happy about that because
And-
when I... What's that?
Oh, I'm going to come back and I'll be mad at you for tempering my expectations.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. Let's. Man, I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry about tempering your your expectations.
Sorry for tempering your thought.
So when I came into this community, the way I started in the Destiny community was as this entity, Dear Bungie, and I made videos based on just completely wild speculation. Like I would have been fired from Bungie because I just wanted the stars, actually and literally, and so I don't know. That's
why I joined your clan.
I don't think they would
Was
have
it?
fired you. They just would have put you in a corner, and then they would have stolen your ideas and talked to them at meetings and not shown you which ones they could actually implement.
You know what? I'm happy with the position I'm in right now, because what we are doing is we are talking about what Destiny actually is, and that makes me a lot happier than speculating, because if you go back and watch those videos, my speculation was awesome, but it clearly was the tools that they were using. They are using the tools that I described that people were going to use in the game, because other games are using these same tools, but they're giving them to the player. So I just thought, this was done in 2007. Why can't we do this now? So I don't know. Let's move on. What do we got, Agros?
Moving on. In closing, in the update this week, Bungie gave an official shout out to the fine men and women at High Moon Studios. It seems that the studio behind 2 recent Transformer games and some last-gen versions of Call of Duty are partnering to help Bungie with Destiny.
Don't
The
forget
exact
Deadpool.
nature... What's that?
I said, don't forget Deadpool.
Oh, I was unaware of that one. The exact nature of their contribution is unknown at this time, but it was all revealed earlier this week by a job posting from High Moon Studios that read, "Our goal is simple. Make game experiences that kick ass and blow minds. There's over 200 combined years worth of development experience at High Moon, led by a team of award-winning veterans and crack production staff. We work hard. We play hard. We need to add world-class talent as we partner with Bungie to support work on their groundbreaking Destiny franchise." It goes on to mention that bonus skills for this job would include mission design and things along those lines. So this is interesting. They're bringing in another studio to partner with them on Destiny. What type of work do you think that they're actually going to be involved in? Do you think they're going to be working on the new stuff? Or do you think maybe they're just going to be preparing the last-gen versions of what Bungie is working on for next-gen? Those are two sides of the coin people are looking at.
Yeah, I mean, it could really be either one of those. I find it the tiniest bit disheartening to think that they would come in and work on new content, just because I really appreciate how much Bungie has kept it in-house, like how much they have chosen to do themselves. So part of me feels like they can't possibly be bringing these people in to do missions and things like all of those are ideas, like the things that I would bring somebody in for. And this, take this with a grain of salt, because I really don't know what I'm talking about in game design, but ideas I have a million of, like you don't, and ideas Bungie has a million of. So what they're bringing these people in to do is something huge. I played the ported version of, what was it? That Titanfall. I played the Xbox 360 version of Titanfall, which was ported by Blue Point Studio, and I thought that they did an amazing job. Like when you look at what the Xbox One is capable of doing, and then you look at what Blue Point did with the Xbox One version, I mean, it was fantastic in that it didn't suck, and that's huge. That's huge. So I mean, it's possible that this other studio could really be doing a lot of cool stuff for Bungie. We just don't know yet. I don't know. Does anybody else have an idea of what they might be doing here?
Do we know which Transformer games they did?
They did the Fall of Cybertron and the War on Cybertron.
Okay, are those are both console games though, right?
Yeah, they're both console. They're both
2.
shooters. They're both PvP shooters. Okay. They had I think they had both elements, but I know they had a strong PvP element to them, if I understand correctly.
They also had a strong
at least one of them got
element,
really good
obviously.
reviews.
What was that, Jess?
They also have a very strong vehicle element as well.
Oh, yes. Snap.
They
Again,
do,
though.
because all of your Transformers go full out into full vehicle mode during combat and everything, so It was handled quite well from what I never played them, but if I remember the views correctly, people generally liked how it was handled.
Man, that would be awesome. I way
I
one
don't know
vehicle
if we could get a dead Optimus Prime Easter egg somewhere, I'd be happy.
Oh yeah, there's actually one in Assassin's Creed. I think the first game had a window that you could walk up to it was like done in this, ancient, this hundreds of years old styling, but it looked like the front of Optimus Prime. That would be cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. Moving on.
Yeah, I have no idea what they'd be working on.
Have a good one, Strider. Thanks for showing up.
Oh, later, Strider.
Later, Strider. So that's mostly it for the news. This week there was also a community profile on Team Resolute. They're a great clan. I had the fortune to run into a few of their members.
Those guys are all cool.
Yeah, they're a great guy. They had Clawman for an interview in the studio there, and I encourage everyone to go check that out. So big shout out to them for getting the community focused. Great group of individuals. Very active on Twitter and in the community. So I'm happy to see people who have been following Destiny for a long time and are very active in the community and care about it getting the recognition.
I agree. It's really, really nice to see a name I know. Not that there's a lot of them that go by, but sometimes it will be an obscure source that I did not know focused on Destiny. But with Team Resolute, what a bunch of great people! Like Tinks is a really great person. That Mesa Sean is part of that Resolute. Clawman. It was funny actually when I first got into the Destiny community. I actually got into it with Clawman. Like I jumped down his throat about he was saying well the beta is going to be no less than a week more for the PlayStation 4 people, and I'm like, there's absolutely nothing to support this. You've got absolutely no reason to actually believe this. And then I felt bad, and then I don't know, we kissed and made up.
I hope I'm saying this right, but Rychek, Bife's girlfriend, she's a member of Resolute.
Oh yeah,
she just got recruited this week.
Chris Barrett in Bungie is part of Resolute at this point, so they're making waves, and really what a bunch of great players. And it's funny how many other groups have a very similar mindset to what Guardian 1 is, because really every clan is about reaching down and helping the next person back up, and so watching another group who does it in everything but name and title, like I have made it very clear with Guardian 1 what it's about. I haven't really followed through on making that a reality, except for the people who have made it a reality, like you, Kdub. You have taken this idea and you've made it a reality. You've brought people in who are absolutely crucial to my everyday Destiny playtime. And it's, I don't know, I'm so thankful to be part of this community and to see other communities like this being raised up. I don't know. I almost feel bad for them because now it's not like they didn't already have a ton of people wanting to get in. As a matter of fact, Resolute has a fan club group called Irresolute, and the members of that group, they basically use the same font, and they basically run in the same circles, but they're not part of Resolute. so it's really cool to see. Really cool to see that. Really great community.
Just to add on to that, Remy, I was a pretty big WoW player, and I've played other FPSs and I've been a part of other communities, but it's never been anything like the community that we're in. That's why I've been all in since pre-alpha, because even pre-alpha, when we were just all speculating and having fun, and I was going to Miami for the E3 thing, and I was sending you alpha codes and just all that stuff. It was so much fun, and everybody was so supportive and positive that it was just a completely different animal. And that's why this has been so much fun for me. And I've brought my son into the loop and stuff like that, because it's just such a cool thing,
Yeah, excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so we are coming up on time. So what else do we have, Agrios?
Oh, that's pretty much it. We've pretty much hit everything of importance this week.
Yeah, I've got one other quick sidebar.
Let's do it.
The last update that we got, where they increased our vault space that everybody was screaming for, right? How long ago was that?
Too long ago.
Months ago.
Too long.
And is everybody out? Is everybody out of vault space now?
Long ago.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I'm so screaming again already for vault space. It's like
I've already deleted so many things I wish I still had.
it's if I get that message, there is no space. One more time, I'm going to throw up. I'm going with the app. I'm going to the tower. I'm doing back and forth. It's like it's as bad as it's ever been for me, with all of the engrams and the chest farming and the this, that, and the other thing. It's retarded how bad we need vault space. So it's just like I hope we all want expansion. We all want more content, but at the same token, I want us to get to where it's the next thing and we just lose last gen, go all next gen, and we all get the kind of vault space that we need. Because as us hardcore Destiny players, we want to collect that stuff. We want to keep those things. I don't want to delete my 3 little words that I just deleted yesterday. I don't want to do that, but I had to. And
oh man!
Oh my gosh!
That hurts my heart. I wanted that so bad.
Sucks. So I wanted to get your opinions on where you guys were on vault space.
Man, I'm totally packed, but I will tell you what, Kdub, I am so thankful for the amount of time that I don't get to play Destiny, because if I played Destiny even one more minute than I already do, I would be that much closer to where Agrios is, and Agrios has a ton of stuff, and I have the same amount of vault space that he does, and yet I haven't had to delete nearly as much as he does. And you know what, though? I don't know how we're going to fix this, because some of these things I can't really see myself using again. Like there's some sniper rifles I have that were really awesome, and I'm glad I had them when I did. But now, there's other things I want to use, other things I end up using more, and I just want to put them somewhere that's out of the way. I don't need to be able to interact with it on a going to the vault level. Like I want someplace else, in the tower where I can just put a gun and leave it there. And yeah, in my apartment, absolutely. I want to put it up on the wall for all to see. Like, look what I have. I don't use it anymore, and it's not ever going to see service. But look at, I feel like it's a trophy of,
It would be nice if you could, like, after dismantling a gun, you could go to a screen and see all the guns you've dismantled and all the different
shell or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, you don't even need the stats on it, just the model.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Right, like an archive. Like I want to archive this weapon. Boom.
Yes, but then your completionists who miss guns and they're not as available anymore.
Well, that's why
OCD
you don't
freak
have.
out.
That's why you don't have blank spaces. You just fill it up. Like, you know what I mean? You don't see blank spaces. You just have everything you've ever dismantled.
You know what, though, Crimson, you are right in that there are places that will have a listing of each of the weapons that people have dismantled. Like, there will be a registry of all of the weapons like that. So you could just print that out and then be upset at yourself for not having those.
Dude, I'm so bad with that.
Tell you.
I was so bad with that. Like, Assassin's Creed was the worst, because I'd go to my hideout and I'd see the weapons I was still missing, and I'd freak out and be like, when am I getting these things? And then I'd, like, play the game for hours to get the money to buy all the weapons and armor in every game that I played of it.
I did it a long time ago. I deleted my first Mida multi-tool. Because I was like, I don't ever use this gun. And I was running out of vault space, and I'm like, I'm going to get rid of it. And then later on, here comes Crota, and I'm like, shit. And I needed Mida,
And that's the example. You never know when something is going to become overpowered or like exceptionally good at something, or they're going to discontinue your ability to ever get it again. Like, I'm sure that there were pulse rifles that were awesome back in the day, like before Dark Below ever dropped, that I got and dismantled because they paled in comparison to anything else I had in my arsenal that I was using at the time, like my auto rifles or whatever, like did the job better. Like something did the job better. But now because of the changes, the auto rifles became substandard and pulse rifles have moved up to take their place. Like those guns that I've deleted in the past, perhaps would be valuable to me now if I would have had somewhere to keep them till now.
I've still got one No Land Beyond, just in case.
I keep mine too. I should just break it down.
Now,
but as soon as you do, something's going to happen where it's going to be like the most OP gun,
Right? Oh, now, it's full auto now.
It's like this week. Patience and Time is a good gun, no doubt. Yeah. But this week for Skolas, it is the best gun.
Yep.
So...
Well, is it really the best gun, or is it just the only 365 arc sniper with Field Scout available to people who didn't already happen to have another one?
And isn't a hunter who can turn invisible?
Well, you could have the Ephrodite Spear with arc,
with Field Scout, and with
you
could. Still not as stable, though.
Which would probably be better than Patience and Time if you had all that. But if you didn't already have that rolled, you can't roll Field Scout on it anymore.
But that's still saying that it's the best gun at this time, and it's not going to be later. And True. It's just interesting to have it.
Agreed.
So keep your very unique weapons. Yeah. Maybe look and see what weapons are duplicates of something else you have.
Yep. You know what, Kdub? I have started, I've almost completed deleting all of the weapons and gear that I had that was rare. Like that's the point where I am in my inventory. Is I used to keep some really cool, rare weapons like that Stalker BNGL. Like that seemed like a really cool weapon. It had a great paint job, but I just I have more stuff coming in, so it's got to go.
I've got one set. I've got the Raku Fulcrum set on my Titan, which looks epically cool. But when I put it on, I'm level 26. But it looks so badass that's the only blue set of armor that I've kept, and it's in my vault.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that if I had less room in my armor vault, it's not as much of a push for the armor, so I've still got like the special PlayStation armors. I have those saved up, but I got rid of all my knight stuff. Like I used to have a really sweet set of knight armor for my Titan, but I'm not using it. I just need to move it along so I can save other stuff. So
the only set I've been trying to save is a bronze set of Tengu Opred for my Warlock.
You know what? I found some recently, and I wanted to, but now I just can't do it. I don't
play my Warlock enough to have other Warlock gear, so it works out in the end.
Okay, so so we're coming up on the end of the show, but before we leave, I want Agrios to read that grimoire he found. Give us all something to chew on in between the time between then and now. When we see you again next week, unless there's something someone wants to bring up real quick. Anything else anyone want to talk about? All right, Agrios.
Is the Grimoire card about Skolas being freed. The cell cracks open. Skolas, Wolfkel, stumbles out and crashes to his knees. He tries to leap at the creature before him, the shape in fog to show why it should be afraid. But the weight of grief smashes his legs against the cell. The rage upon him beats him to the floor. He falls on all four hands, his mighty armor thundering against itself. His house of wolves is enslaved, his people have been played, and it was his hubris, his would-be cunning that did it. While the other houses fought for their future on Earth, throwing themselves at the great machine, Skolas wasted his people in games of betrayal and ambition. Bitter pride bought a bitter end. If Skolas were a Kel, he would ask his Archon to dock him. Ether hisses in his mask, and it tastes cold, so cold. He looks up at the tiny hooded shape before him. The cell's mist is clearing. He can see. I believe that I am here, the creature says. To Skullus' ears, it has a strange voice, a strange accent. It speaks his language. I have a clear purpose. I cannot explain it. Forgive me. From beneath its hood, tiny fingers of shadow probe the air. Skullus rises up to smash it, to show his strength, because the alternative to violence is waiting for violence to come from a universe that has neither respect nor compassion. But he checks himself. His ambitions have brought him here, to his cell, in this strange place. Only it's not so strange, is it? It's the hold of a catch. The Queen, he says to the thing. You work for the Queen. The 9 made me aware of my purpose, the creature says. If I am here, then it is because the Queen sent you to the 9, and they wish you sent back. I will do no one else's work, Skullus has been a pawn long enough. A dreg told him once that she would play in a game as long as the game made sense. Nothing made sense now except the thought of Varric's throat shattering in his fists. Varric's the utterly disloyal. Varric's who should be welded into a catch's prow atom by atom and left there as a figurehead to burn away. I am comfortable, the creature with the moving face says. A part of me wants to go somewhere warm. Now I will certainly tell you what you have been given. Skullus looks at the shrapnel gun in his hands. Skullus imagines what he would do with it if he could reach Varric's, or the brother of the Queen, or the alien Queen. Will it save anything they've lost? Will the worlds docked from them? No. It cannot change the past, only the future. Only the chance that his people might one day know themselves as more than pirates and scavengers. He should never have tried to be the Kell of wolves. He should have tried to be the Kell of everything. Everything wants to kill his people, the machines and the militants and the green-eyed hive, the dead soldiers that hoard the great machine and come out crusading to wipe all hope away. The ship will be yours, the creature says. It hunches over itself as if burdened by its own shape. If you speak, you will be heard. I will go now. You are free. He tries to follow it. He fails. Somehow it is gone. He goes up to the throne room and sets his weapon down on the great seat. Skullus, Kell of Kells, goes to the ship's comm and looks for the sign of a servitor, for the way to plot a course.
Crazy and tons to think about. Shoutouts, Kdub.
I got 2 shout-outs real quick. One is to you, Remy. You have more on your plate than a lot of people realize, and you need to learn to delegate to us, my brother, a little more if you can.
Delegation, got it.
Delegation. But my other shout-out is to Mark. Mark's going to be here next week. Obviously, he's really happy about it. He's fired up. And he's an awesome community member. He's a big leader in our community. He's a great dude, and I can't wait to hear him on the show next week.
And an honorary Guardian 1 member.
Exactly.
I like it. I like it a lot. Agrios.
Shout out to Ancient Child on the PS4. He last week Sharks and I were at Skullus an hour and a half before reset, and our third-party team member had to bail. And at the last minute, we found him and we came in, and after just a couple wipes, took Skullus down just before reset. And that was awesome. So he gets my shout out this week.
Excellent shout out, Jez.
Shout out to Watts and DOA for helping me get my cipher just before the show.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent. Crimson Warlock.
My shout out for this week is to hold on, I gotta read it. It's Back Down Tome 70, and this was a Guardian who had the courage to invite me to his fire team while I was in the tower doing some stuff, and I saw he was level 24. And I was like, I wonder what this is all about. So I just joined up his fire team, and this was a kindergarten that I just met, and he was asking me how I got my gear to look so cool because he was a Titan and I was playing on my Titan.
Awesome.
And so I got to play with this guy for about probably about 40 minutes, and I taught him some tips and tricks and told him about what he could expect when he hits a little bit higher levels and how to increase his light level past 24. And it was fun times, and hopefully I'll be able to play with him again. And hopefully we'll get him into Guardian 1. I invited him, but I'm not sure if he's applied yet or not. But
Excellent shout out. My shout out is to my dog Shiva. She's been really sick, and I'm not sure that we are out of the woods yet. But I just want to say that I love you, Noodle. That wraps up episode 42. I'd like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for the topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.